Congratulations to each and every single one of you for really spending the time to do better in your fitness journey. I myself, it's a reminder for me too. I am not where I want to be, as crazy as that sounds, but there's always a new goal that we can always achieve. There's always a better version of us that we can always achieve and strive for. It never ends. Once you hit a goal, you're always like, okay, what's the next goal? This is our first live coaching session. The chat is open for any questions. Also, there's a Q&A. If you want to submit questions to me unanimously, you can as well. But this is just a way for all of us just to get to know more about ourselves. So really a rundown is we're going to go over staple food list, day one assessment and goal setting, download my fitness pal and set up your account, break down the importance of macronutrients, and also how to calculate your personal macros. So there's a lot of things that we're going to unwrap today, which I'm very excited. And there's going to be practical, impactful, and informational tips that you can apply right then and there. Really, after today's session, you can go out and just start crushing it and annihilating all of your goals so that way you can really set yourself up for success. I'm Katrina Aroman, and I am the founder and CEO of Body by Kat. So how Body by Kat was born was 8 years ago. Coming from Filipino household, there's just always food around me. I've been surrounded by food all the time, but I grew up being a very skinny stick, like no shape whatsoever. I was literally just skin and bone. And then family members would say, Kat, you're getting a little skinny. You need to eat more food. I'm like, really? I'm really skinny? Okay, I'll eat more food. And then that's when I actually got on birth control too. So I was also eating a lot of food and on birth control. My hormones were all out of whack. And I started eating more food. Then I started packing on a lot of weight. And then I would say maybe 2-3 years later, it was my senior graduation party. I open up the sliding door and my uncle says, you're getting fat. I was like, wait, you're lying. What? And I asked my mom. She's like, no, he's crazy. And then that's when I was like, okay, I'm fine. Like I would eat a whole plate, like 2 plates of rice at night before I went to bed. And I wouldn't even allow my body to digest within 30 to 45 minutes. I went straight to bed and I would eat a whole bag of Takis like this big. And I ate that from middle school up until first year of college. Like my consumption of food was so out of whack because I didn't understand that there were other foods that really gave me the nutrients that I needed. And I share that story to say, we all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different fitness journey levels, but one thing remains true. It's you can always unlearn, relearn, and implement new habits that you can apply day to day. And all it takes is to create better habits. If you have a habit right now that's probably not the best, you can swap that old habit for a new one. And that's why I recommend this book. This is from James Clear. It's Atomic Habits. I highly recommend all of you, if you have not read the entire book. I have read the entire book, and I'm going to tell you, just the first runaround. Julie, yes, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that you have the book, you've read the book, and I want to read the book again. Like you can get this on Amazon, but the amount of self-development and awareness that you get from just reading this book, really an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. We're always learning, we're always evolving, and we never arrive. Like as much as I am where I am now, it may seem, oh my gosh, she's so advanced. Like, man, I wish I could be on her level. Guys, it took me 8 years and counting in fitness, mental toughness, personal development, listening to audiobooks when I wanted to watch and binge Netflix TV shows. Like all of these habits are stacked habits, and you're not going to get it right away. I don't know if you guys heard of the saying, but it's 21 days to create habits, but then also 90 days to see results. I don't think you can create a habit in 21 days, really. It takes year after year, conscious, intentional effort. And that's really just a snippet of what we're going to talk about. But let's talk about our staple food list, shall we? I get so many questions of what should I eat? What kind of food should I have in my kitchen? What things should I have in my pantry? What are foods that I should stay away from? What are good and bad? Now, I get that there's so much information overload with everything out there. To create a staple food list is to know which foods you love best. Which foods are you okay eating over and over again without getting tired of it? And that's why I asked you guys to grab a pen and papers, because I'm going to list out a few staple food lists. Now, I'm a student as well. I'm going to be writing down the things that I'm saying because this is a great teaching moment for myself too. Pantry staples. You can have rice, brown or white rice. I know there's a lot of people saying which one's healthier, which one's better. Honestly, brown rice actually has more calories than white rice. Rice is rice, carbs is carbs. What you can have for grains is quinoa. If you guys don't like the texture of quinoa, they're little like small balls, but you can have that in your meal. If you want that and you enjoy it, then by all means have quinoa. Oats are great. I personally always focus on eating the foods that I love, because if I eat something that I do not like, I feel like I just wasted my appetite. I wasted the room in my stomach for the food I was really really wanting to eat. I hope that makes sense. But there's also pasta. There's pea pasta, whole grain pasta that you can get at Walmart. Now, our whole food system is all out of whack too. There's food that are processed, not as much processed, super processed. I would just say do your best to read the ingredients. As long as the ingredients doesn't give you a whole encyclopedia, then you're good. You're on the right track. If there's 4 or 5, maybe at max 10 ingredients, that's completely fine. Now, when you go to Walmart or Target, there's whole grain pasta, long grain, or like those spirally ones, and it literally just says whole wheat or whole grain. That's great. Protein is also good. There's black beans, kidney beans, and then for nuts and seeds, it's great for fats too. You can have almonds, walnuts, chia seeds, and flax seeds. Now, there are cooking oils too that you can use. There's olive oil, coconut oil. Just make sure when you're putting spices, there is this one it's called dash seasoning, where it's no salt at all. So if you already are using a lot of spices at home and you want to balance out your sodium intake, I highly recommend looking for the dash seasoning. You can get this at Target and at Walmart. Now, sweeteners. Let me tell you about sweeteners. It's okay to have sweeteners like monk fruit, there's stevia, there's Splenda, there's so many brand names. It's not bad if you have a couple. I would say max 3 to 4. Don't have 10 to 20, or don't even consume artificial sweeteners every single meal or every single day. What happens is your digestive system wreaks havoc, and you're really just going to not put yourself in a good position for your stomach and your intestines to really do what it needs to do. The reason why is because when I was bodybuilding, I had sweeteners every single meal. I would put 6-7 packets of stevia in my coffee. I would make protein donuts and have the peanut butter not flavored. And I kid you not, I looked like I was 3 months pregnant. It was so bad. So I highly recommend that you learn from my mistakes and only have a little bit of sweeteners, but stick to agave nectar. Yes, it's carbs, but it's natural sugars, also honey, but just don't overconsume. The whole idea of is this food good, is this food bad? The only way it'll be bad is if you overconsume it and you're at a breaking point of wanting to throw up, or if you already ate and you're full and you still want to keep eating. Now that's just lack of self-control on your part. Now let's go back to the staple food list. So there's also refrigerator staples that you can, there's Chobani small cups of yogurt that you can buy at the grocery store, and it's about 15 grams of protein. It's 0 fat and about 5 to 6 grams of carbs for a small go-to snack. And then leafy greens, spinach, kale, make sure that you're having at least some kind of greens, broccoli, asparagus, but you don't want to have too much, because if you do have too much fiber, you're going to get bloated. If you have a little fiber, you're going to get bloated. So for women, I would say about 23 to 25 grams of fiber per day. For men, I would say about 35 to 40 grams of fiber. But again, you have to really feel and see how your body's digesting well with it. It's different for everybody. I used to only be able to consume about 10 to 15 grams of fiber. And if I went over that, I would just literally flood the gates in the bathroom. And that didn't help until I slowly started increasing my fiber intake. And now I'm at a good 25, maybe 28 grams of fiber. And then fruits, apples, bananas, pears, berries, oranges. The reason why you want to keep your plate colorful is because one, you're getting the nutrients that you don't necessarily get on a day-to-day basis. When you're going to fast food and you're quick grab and go and someone's making for it, you don't have as much control with the ingredients than when you do have it yourself. Look, I know it's tedious. Like you have to think, oh, okay, I need fruits, vegetables, protein, carbs, fats. But if you think about it, we're in the long game. We're not in the short game. Everything's long-term sustainable. You want to find foods that you truly enjoy. And if you have a sweet tooth, oh my gosh, fruits are going to crave that sweet tooth to the T. I had the craziest sweet tooth after my bodybuilding show. And I know maybe you guys aren't going to plan on bodybuilding except for one on here, which I'm really excited about. When you're bodybuilding, you have to like basically not have any overprocessed sugars. And that's all I craved for my 16 week prep. I wanted crumble cookies. I wanted donuts. I wanted ice cream. And I kid you not, after I was done with my show and I won the whole entire show, I had 5 days of binging sugar. I gained 25 pounds in 5 days. That's crazy. I was shocked. I had brain fog. I was so upset with how I let myself go. And after being in a position where you're just so sick and tired of it and not wanting to feel sluggish, you want to feel great, energetic, foods really make a big difference. It's so crazy. And just wrapping my mind around it, like me teaching you guys realize this, it still irks me because I let myself do that. I was okay in the moment. You know, like when you have a goal and you kind of want to break it, twist and bend, and go around your goal, and then you're like, dang, why did I do that? You had a sense of regret. If that happens to you, give yourself grace, try the next day, and remember that exact feeling that you went through when you broke the promise or the goals that you made to yourself. It's so important to remember how you felt when you overeat something, when you decide to eat that full box of donuts instead of focusing on eating protein. Chicken, turkey, fish, tofu, salmon, egg whites are great. So eggs, they have the fat content in the yolk, but you can actually add just protein itself from getting egg whites at Costco and or Sam's Club. You can put spinach on the pan, cook first, and then put the egg and then your egg whites, and you have an omelet. Now, if you want to add tomato, or if you want to add mushrooms, a little bit of chicken, a little bit of maybe less fat cheese, oh my gosh, you have an omelet that you can make at home versus going to the restaurant and having someone else make it and not having so much control over the ingredients. I do also want to share that all my clients that get started with me, I provide a macro cheat sheet. You see that? I know. Okay, the macronutrients are fats, protein, and carbs. These are the day-to-day macronutrients that we're eating. Now, there are some of us that may be under eating in fats, maybe overeating, under eating carbs and overeating. So there's a lot to it. But protein, essentially, the function is to maintain and build lean muscle mass. Now, I get majority of everyone wants to lose the unwanted weight. And the reason why you're having a hard time losing that unwanted weight is because you're not giving your body the nutrients that it needs. And when I say nutrients, I'm talking about protein. There's satiety when you eat protein, meaning you are full longer throughout the day. You don't feel as hungry. You don't feel like you need to snack. It provides the energy and fuel for your body, a well-balanced approach to nutrition. So with protein, it's really going to help you with your hair, skin, and nails, your organs, your immune system function, enzymes, and hormones. For example, chicken breast, turkey breast. There's so many alternatives that you can make a lot healthier. There's tilapia, shrimp, turkey bacon. I've been on a turkey bacon kick, and it's from Jenny O's. It literally tastes just like bacon. I don't know about you guys, but it makes me so inflamed. My face poofs up because of how much fat content that pork has. If your digestion is really good with pork, I don't mind or even will stop you from eating it. But for me personally, I know how it affects me. And that's another thing to know. When you're trying these foods and it's very new to you, you just have to see how you feel with it, how your body is responding to it. And if it's not doing great, then cut it out. Don't even have it anymore. Carbs is just the main source of energy for our body. Vegetables, great source of dietary fiber, also helps pass food through our digestive system. Now we are going to talk about goals, goal setting. Now, you guys are more than welcome to send what your specific goal is for this year. I will share them out loud. Now, my personal goal is to continue to stay consistent and committed to the journey of becoming the better version of myself. Although I post content daily, I show up every day. I am also prioritizing my mental health, making sure that my cup is filled. My goal is just to show up the best that I can for all of you and for everyone else who needs my help, because this is what I love to do. This is my entire life. And growing up, I always had a hard time putting others before myself. It was always me. And then once I started growing up into adulthood, I was so selfish. I just wanted everything to be about me. I didn't care about what anyone else thought because of the way I was brought up and how people would just step over me. But my goal is just to focus so much on myself first, so that way my cup is full, and that way I can help those, especially you guys that are lost in your fitness journey. You probably don't even know, what am I supposed to do now? How am I supposed to lose this weight? There's so much information on Instagram, on social media. I don't know what to do, where I should get the information, and how to apply it. And I applaud you guys because you're really investing your time. Time is something we can't get back, but you're investing your time to get on this Zoom call. Let's talk about goal setting. When it comes to creating goals, it's great to have huge goals. Growing up, I always wanted to attain something bigger than what I thought could be possible. But always remind yourself, it's good to have small goals. And the reason why you want to create small goals is so that way it's in accordance to your big goal. When I say small goals, really think of it as small goal A, B, C, D. Your small goal A is to, maybe let's talk about fitness. You want to show up at the gym at least 3 times a week. You do that, boom, small goal A is done. Think of that goal turns into a coin and you put it inside of your piggy bank of confidence. The reason why you want to set yourself up for success is so that way you can start engineering the idea of, okay, I created a small goal. And now I can put that into my piggy bank. And like, you're collecting imaginary piggy banks. But guys, this is such an amazing approach, not only because other people are saying it, but I tried it myself. And that's really what just transitioned and changed the trajectory of how I act, what my standards are, and also how I move as a woman. And I want to be a woman of my word. And I'm sure all of you women too want to be of your word. It weighs so heavy, but people respect you more because of it. So let's say your goal A of going to the gym, done, boom, you got a coin. Small goal B is just doing every single, like maybe going to the gym for about 30 to 45 minutes just to start off. You probably don't even know what the heck you're doing. You probably feel like oh my gosh, are people looking at me? Does my form look stupid? Just do it anyways. You're gonna learn. As much as I would say, oh, do this and this, you really only get true experience in the field. People can just tell you what to do, but when you can actually apply what people are telling you to do, that's power. I'm sure you guys heard of knowledge is power. Applied knowledge is power. That small tweak makes the biggest difference. Let's say you're at the gym now for 30 to 45 minutes consistently for 3 days a week. Ding, another coin in your self-confidence bank. Goal C could be, okay, I'm going to make sure that I do my cardio for minimum 10 minutes. If I go overboard, great, that's fine. When you're creating these goals, set minimum standards of activity. When I say minimum, the barest minimum that you cannot miss. So if it's just doing cardio and your minimum is 10 minutes, but you go over and do 15 minutes, great job. As long as you completed your minimum standards of activity, you're good. So ding, another coin. Now goal D could be maybe recording yourself. A lot of people get so scared recording themselves, and I was like that too. I was like, oh my gosh, are people gonna look at me? I look stupid right now. But that's why I use my platform to share with you guys. Me dancing, just me being myself. Who the heck cares if anyone's watching me? They're not in my video. They're just seeing me. They're only gonna see me probably dance for about 5-10 minutes at the gym and I'm out. You just have to let go of what people think of you. If you have someone to stop you from recording yourself so that way you can see your progress, why are you giving them that power? Don't give people power to think, oh my gosh, what are they thinking of me? There's a lot of freedom on the other side of that. So record yourself. And once you do, and you start doing that little by little, ding, another coin. So I want you guys to write down minimum standards of activity. My homework for you is, if you can't get 5, if it's just like 1 or 2, maybe max 3, and you do this every single day, you're going to move, talk, act different. The way you believe in yourself, the way that you see yourself, and the way that you respect yourself is going to be different. These goals aren't just to hit the goal. These goals are to give you a sense of accomplishment. I said that I was going to do this. Nobody's watching, but I am watching. I am going to do what I said I will do. And that's the whole idea of commitment, is doing what you said you'd do long after the mood you've set it in has passed. If you noticed, January 1st, all the gyms are packed, but then it starts decreasing as the months go by. You know why? It's because new year, new me, new goals. I get it. Okay. We can always start over. There's nothing wrong with starting over. But what happens is, what if your emotion's not as high as it was in the very beginning of your fitness journey? That's going to test your mental toughness. It's going to test your commitment that you made to yourself. And that's why it's doing what you said you do long after the mood you've set it in has passed. Now, if there's times in your life where you're just so pissed off and nothing is happening and you're like, man, I can't do it anymore. Nope. Doesn't matter if you feel like you can't do it anymore. Don't feel your way into the right action. Act your way into the right feeling. I'll say that again. Don't feel your way into the right action. Act your way into the right feeling. You're going to win every single time. It took me years to instill that. Even though friends, family, even myself, I give you advice and I tell you, I'm not going to come from a frustrating place. I'm going to come from love, genuine love, care, and give you grace, because I know when someone tells you something, it's not going to click right away. But what you can do is give you an open arena to learn and experience yourself. Plans change, decisions don't. If you need to adjust your goal, that's great. Keep on it. As long as you have a goal in front of you, that's all that matters. So now we're going to talk about MyFitnessPal. So if you have an Android, you can go on Google Play, go on MyFitnessPal, Apple phone, you can download that too. All my blue bubbles. I still have love for my green bubbles, okay? So what you're pretty much going to do with MyFitnessPal, there is a free version and there's a premium version. You get to change your macro goals and it shows percentages, but I like the premium version, one, because it actually shows you the grams. So if you have fats that are 50 grams, your goal is 170 grams of carbs and maybe 100 grams of protein, you can set that as your macronutrient goal on the premium version in grams, and it's going to show you as you get closer to your macronutrient goal. And as long as you have your phone with you, it actually tracks your steps. If you don't have have an Apple Watch, it's completely fine. The app will check it for you. You're really just going to input your goals in there. Like I said, the macronutrient goal, dietary preferences, and also activity level. Now, the reason why I'm talking about activity level is because that's what's going to be based off how much calories you should consume for either gaining muscle, gaining weight, or losing fat. And activity levels could be standard, very little to no activity, sedentary, little to no exercise. So if you have a desk job, then you're sedentary. If you're lightly active, that's light exercise or sports for about 1 to 3 days a week. But there's also moderately active when it comes to moving your body, going to the gym. You probably do sports 3 to 5 times a week or go to the gym 3 to 5 times a week. And there's very active, exercising 6 to 7 days a week, extremely active. They love to just get dirty and do sports, physical job, go to the gym maybe 6, 7 times a week too. What you're going to do is log in every single food that you eat. And when I say every single food, it doesn't have to be to the T. I'm sure most of you right now don't even know how much calories you consume on a day-to-day basis. You don't understand how many times I hear people say, I don't even eat much and I'm still gaining weight. The reason why you're gaining weight is because you're eating very little. So even going over 100 calories will make you gain weight. It sucks, even eating too much. That's why I know how tedious it is when it comes to tracking food and your macronutrients, but it's going to serve you so good in the long run. Now, I'm in a place where I just intuitively eat. I still measure my rice. I still watch what I eat. I still focus on avocado for fat, salmon, chicken, anything that I can make myself. And then if I want to eat at a restaurant with my husband and his family or friends, I don't mind. Yes, my weight is going to be up the next day, maybe about 2 pounds, but that's not fat. If you think that you're going to gain fat or you've gained fat because you gained 3 pounds like from yesterday's food, in order for someone to gain a pound of fat, you need to eat 3,500 calories. Say that again. 3,500 calories to gain 1 pound of fat extra on top of what you're eating. So if your goal is 1,750 calories and you eat an extra 3,500 calories, you're going to gain a pound of fat. That's how it works. The reason why your weight is up is because sodium, carbs, spices, water weight, all of it. There's so many factors to it. Just get back to routine and you're going to get back to your starting weight before you ate out in like about 2 to 3 days. Okay, so now I'm going to help you guys learn how to calculate your own personal macros. Now, there are factors that do influence this, but we first need to determine your goals. Whether you want to lose weight, gain muscle, or maintain your current weight, this is going to help you decide the proportions of your macronutrients. So that's your fats, carbs, and protein. Now, before I really dive into how to really calculate it yourself, is you all need to know these 3 things. For fats, it's 9 calories per gram. For carbs, it's 4 calories per gram. And the same goes for protein, 4 calories per gram. So what we're going to talk about now is your TDEE. You can take notes if you want. It stands for total daily energy expenditure. It's a total amount of calories your body needs in a day to maintain your current weight. First, we need to calculate your basal metabolic rate. So that's your BMR. BMR, basal metabolic rate, and then multiply it by your activity factor. So here's an example, okay? If your basal metabolic rate is 1,500 calories and your activity factor is 1.3, which is for moderate activity, then your TDEE will be 1,950 calories. So that's where we got that, okay? Now we're going to go over to protein intake. Now, protein intake is about 0.5 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So for example, if you're 150 pounds, 0.5 of that is 75 grams, and then 1 gram per body weight is 150. So you're ranging between 75 to 150 grams of protein daily. Now that fluctuates and changes depending on how you feel. You can always lower it down if you want to, but that's just your general aim for protein. Now we're going to talk about fat, okay? Fats, as a reminder, it's 9 calories per gram. So that fat intake typically ranges from 20 to 35% of your total calories. Again, everything is dependent on your goals, okay? Just take what I'm saying as a grain of salt. It's not solidified. It's very different for each and every single person because of your activity level. So you have to remember that. And how to pretty much do that is divide your target daily fat intake in calories by 9 to calculate them out in grams. So for example, if you decide to aim for 30%, so that's 0.3 in decimal, of your total daily energy expenditure, which we got 1,950 calories, in order to do that, you get your 1,950 calories, you times that by 0.30 and you get 585 calories. Now remember, for fats, it's 9 calories per gram. So what you're going to do then is divide the 585 calories by 9, and you're going to get 65 grams of fat per day. So we're good. You got your fats, and you also pretty much got your protein number. Then we're going to go over to carbs, okay? So for carbs, what you're going to do is use the remaining calories after subtracting protein and fats from your EE, which was the 1950 calories. Then you're going to divide that by 4 because carbs is 4 calories per gram. That's why we're dividing it. So for example, if your TDEE, that's 1950 calories, you're going to subtract your daily protein and fat calories from it, okay? So let's say your total grams of protein is 112 grams. You're going to times that by 4 calories per gram. And then you're going to get your 65 grams of fat that we spoke about and times that by 9 to get your calories because it's 9 calories per gram, okay? So now we get all the numbers. So we have the TDEE, which is 1,950 calories. You're going to subtract your protein calories. The calculation that we just did is 448 calories, and then you're going to subtract your fat calories, which is 585 calories. So then you're going to get a total of 917 calories from your carb. Now, in order for us to know in grams, divide the remaining 917 calories by 4, and then you're going to get 229 grams of carbs per day. For someone where their basal metabolic rate is 1,500 calories and they're in moderate activity, you multiply that by 1.3. Your TDEE, like I said, is 1,950 calories. We have that. Now we already figured out your carbs. Your carb intake is 229 grams of carbs and then 65 grams of fat and then 112 grams of protein is your personal macronutrients. Now I know that's a lot, but just to let you guys know, you can adjust your macronutrients as needed. If you probably don't see any weight going down, then maybe you need to adjust your calories a bit. I would say deduct at least 100 calories. What you don't want is to drastically cut your calories because then you're not going to put your body in a place where it will start losing weight. If anything, it's going to be in survival mode. It's going to fight against you instead of work for you. And then also when you're wanting to eat more, you slowly increase your calories too. You don't just increase or decrease your calories so crazily right out the gates. It's all incremental. And that's the approach that you need to accept and be okay with. You always have to just take it little by little. It's not always right out the gates. Okay. And then once you know your daily macronutrient target, then you can start planning your meals to meet those goals. So you would aim for balanced proteins, carbs, and fats in each meal. I would say at least 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal that you're eating, and make sure that you eat between 3 to 4 hours. You always want protein, fats, carbs, like a mixture of it. So that way you're not always hungry and you're not always being so food focused. And then now we're going to talk about tracking. Tracking is so daunting. I hated it in the beginning, but I knew that numbers were going to be my best friend because how am I going to really know how much I'm eating if I'm not tracking? And so once I started doing that, then I knew, okay, my weight's not budging. So maybe I need to just decrease my calories a bit. Or man, I'm maintaining right now, but I do want to bulk. So I'm going to increase my calories little by little. So there are apps like MyFitnessPal. You can track your macronutrient intake there. It pretty much allows you to set your goal. You get to see how much of each macronutrient you're consuming. And then you can also, instead of using this whole math equation that I helped you guys on, to make it a lot easier and less time consuming and less of a headache, there are online calculators provided online that'll calculate your TDEE. It'll help you figure out your activity level, and it's going to give you your macronutrients and also what your calorie intake should be when you want to lose weight, when you want to gain weight, and what your maintenance calories will be. It's very helpful and very cool. Not a lot of people know about that, but that's definitely an option. And last but not least, don't forget to read nutrition labels. You got to pay attention to the nutrition labels on packaged foods to keep track of the macronutrient content. And that's where the MyFitnessPal comes in, because there's a way for you to scan the barcode and it's going to show up the nutrition label. Now, there's going to be times where it's not perfect and you can adjust it manually, but a quick scan and go and MyFitnessPal literally tracks it for you, relieves a lot of pressure off your shoulders trying to input it one by one. So always look out for that. And then when it comes to weighing and measuring your food, for accurate tracking, really guys, you need to use a food scale to weigh your portions and measure out serving sizes. This will really help you calculate the exact macronutrients you're consuming. Now, you don't have to do it to the T, but it's really going to give you an idea, a really precise idea of what you're eating and consuming. And like I said, ahead, adjust as needed, stay consistent. Tracking your macronutrients really can be challenging and honestly at first, but consistency is key. Keep up with your tracking routine to stay on top of your diet and continue to be a student. You're not going to get everything right then and there. It's really important that you just do what you can to make sure you're showing up your best, you're doing what you can, and just have fun in the process. Have fun with the journey and know that this is not okay, I got it once, I'm going to be able to do it. You're going to mess up. You got to give yourself grace. And I'm here to remind you to give yourself grace. But that's pretty much it for session 1. I hope you got a lot of information. I hope that this time together was very impactful for you and it really gave you practical steps of how to start implementing these tips right away. Bye.